Hi, this is Pastor Steve with an encouraging word. A lot of things are happening in the world today. A lot of things are happening in the United States. The things going on may make us anxious or afraid, worried. Some things make us angry, frustrated, sad. But in the world today, there should be a lot of things happening in the church and through the church as well. That's what Jesus wants. Let me give you an example I'm talking about from John's Gospel, the 13th chapter, verses 34 and 35. Jesus said, "A new commandment I give you, that you love one another just as I have loved you. You should love each other the same way. By this, everyone will know that you're a disciple, a follower of mine, if you have love one for another." See, Jesus expects us to follow him. That's a verb. We can say, I am a Christian, and that's important, but I think it's in the verbs that make the difference. Following Jesus is an action. Moreover, Jesus is saying in this passage that it's not enough to say I am a Christian, I know Jesus, but that I love others. I do that verb. I live that out by what I say and do, that I love others the way Jesus did. That's how people will really know if I'm a disciple, a follower of Jesus or not. In the time in which we're living, I think this is vitally important. Someone said it's not enough to say I'm a non-racist, but we have to actively be anti-racist. We have to do the things that show and demonstrate that we don't tolerate, we are against racism. Just this week, I can share two examples. One is one I read in the paper about a young man who's a clerk in the store. He's African American, and a gentleman comes in who's white. He says good morning to him, and the white gentleman just keeps walking. In his mind, the African American clerk is thinking, I don't have to be nice to this guy. He's obviously doesn't want to be nice to me. Well, then a little boy comes in, a little African American boy. Comes in looking around the store, the different things, and sees a pair of tennis shoes, picks them up until he likes them, says, how much are these? Well, the clerk says they're $117. The boy looks surprised, then puts the shoes down. You can tell he's a little sad. Well, it's not about a minute or so later, the white gentleman comes over to where those shoes are. Says to the clerk, are these a good pair of shoes? He said, oh, yes, they are. Said, but a person like to wear these shoes, young man? He said, I think they would for sure. He said, how much are they? He said, they're $117. So he says, what size are you? And the man says, no, they're not for me. I think that young man over here, this little boy, would like them. Ask him his size. Now the clerk's eyes get big. Now his mind is whirling. He's looking at things differently now. And so they measure the young boy's feet, and luckily there's a pair of shoes in the back, and well, the white gentleman buys the shoes for the boy. Tells him that, I want you to understand not all white people are bad. There are a lot of good ones too. 3 lives were changed that day because love was demonstrated. A clerk who is, like many of us, deciding in moments' time or reflecting on what's happening, what he's seeing, what he's hearing, of how he'll respond. A man who went into a store making a choice. I want to do something to bless someone, to care for someone, especially someone different than who I am, at least by the color of their skin. And a little boy gets to learn a lesson, not through hearing it said to him, that not all white people are bad, but through the demonstration, the act of love that came from that white gentleman and buying that young boy some shoes. My wife and I went to Zaxby's to pick up food the other night. We go to pay for it, and the young lady tells us, well, the people in the car in front of you, they paid for your meal. Well, of course, we can't get there quick enough there. The car in front of us is already at the stop trying to wait for the street to clear to go across, and we pull up, and my wife jumps out and says, oh, please, thank you so much. Well, it's an older African-American woman who's waving back at us and saying, well, God bless you. Now, again, I could afford the food, but the gesture, the action, the love she demonstrated That was priceless. We all have choices to make, but we need to be active in our love. We need to stop, look, and listen to what's happening around us and make a choice to actively choose to be a loving person. It's who Jesus calls us to be. It's what Jesus calls us to do as his followers. There's a lot happening in the world. A lot can make us angry or frustrated, sad. But when we choose to love and demonstrate that love by actions, some will cost us some time. Some will cost us some kindness, a sentence or two to be shared of words. Some might cost us some money. But love's like that, isn't it? It's a little bit costly. But oh, it's worth the price every time it's paid. And so when we make the choice to love, to follow Jesus, to act like Jesus, we become more like Jesus. And the world says there's something happening in the church, in those people. And something's happening through the church that could help change the world. This is a word of encouragement today from Pastor Steve.